Welcome to my channel. So this is kind of a backwards way of doing it. This is kind of what I made, what's coming up in the video. What happened was after my live stream, I had all these extra pieces of paper that I had been using to like take paint off the plate. So what I did is I kept playing for a couple hours and I added layers and layers and layers. So that's going to be the footage that you're going to see sped up coming up there. So nothing is finished except for this one tag. So I'll show you this tag first. And this just has the background on this tag. It's a Dina Wakley tag. It's a very big tag. I don't usually use, I don't use it that often because it's so big, like it's even hard to mail. So it's 4 by 8.5. So it's very big, but it's on nice quality mixed media paper. We've got a Tim Holtz guy that I colorized with alcohol markers, a die cut, some Nouveau paste, some stencil butter, a sticker from the dollar store, a stencil of the cogs from PM Artist Studio, some stamps someone had sent me, and then I also just layered on Bombay ink and let it drip, so sort of directed dripping. And this was sort of an organza ribbon that I colorized just ever so slightly. You can see just ever so slightly. It was more of a clear cream, and I just colorized it using these infusions, the Black Knight, and that's what I used to colorize this stencil paste here to make these cogs and stuff. If you don't know what Bombay ink, this is Bombay. It's India ink and it's permanent. It's not, it's water reactive when you're using it, but once it dries, it's permanent. So those drips are not coming off. And then some Nouveau Mousse on the bottom with some of Bombay ink on top. This is the Nouveau Mousse here, Nouveau Mousse, embellishment mousse. So I keep it with a little white baby wipe inside because it does tend to dry up. So I kind of, you have to play with these things every once in a while, otherwise they'll just totally dry up on you. Okay, so that's the finished tag, and that was from this print here. And then, so this is like the leftover of that print, so I will just put that in my stash of painty papers. You can see there's lots of layers on here, and you'll, I don't know how much voiceover I'll do on the video. It might be self-explanatory, so I might just do it as a play session with some music and pop in every once in a while to text something, like to put a caption or to maybe say something. I'm not sure yet because I haven't edited it, obviously, but this was another page that I turned into an envelope. I just took apart an envelope I had and I traced the outline onto the print and I cut it out and I folded it. So a fun little painty paper. Some of the other prints that I end up making, I turned into ATC size cards. So it's just on copy paper, so I would probably back that onto a cardstock. These are 2.5 by 3.5. So I've got a bunch of those. And it's just kind of a fun starting point for, you know, if you're making an ATC, looking for like, oh, I want a red backing for this, you can just kind of start with that. This is another set that I did from one of the prints. I also made some postcards. So I made ATC size cutouts. And I also made postcards. So I cut my postcards, I think, I want to say 3.5 by 5.5. So I cut most of them. What did I cut them? 5.5 by 3.5. And then my intention would be, because these are just on copy paper, I would stick them onto like a 4 by 6 piece of cardstock, or use them for to make a postcard or make a greeting card. So it's kind of like a background starting point. Or I might use it in something else. Maybe I just need a little block of paper and I can use that from my stash. So I won't glue it onto the cardstock until I know that's what I'm making. So I'll just show you these, and then you'll see how I made these prints coming up. And then I had some of that stamping I had done with Texture Junkie's goddess stamps. So I left one set as a border. I added extra stamping with archival ink. I think I used this purple one. So I added layers and maybe a black on some of them. And then some of them I cut out with my, with an oval die cut I had. This was sort of a skinny area that I had to kind of really just sort of fussy cut. And then these ones I was able to use the oval as well. So these would be fun and happy mail, or you could like stick them on a journal. So maybe I put it like that, like as a closure. Who knows? This is a signature that I made. So this is using all the leftover prints that we ended up making and adding layers. And I just took the copy paper, which is 8.5 by 11, and I folded it in half. And then I arranged the sequence that I liked how things faced each other. Then I just trimmed it. So it's not 8.5 anymore, but because there was like borders, and that's just a brayer off paper. So each page ended up being, you could trim them first, about 8 by 10. So about the size of my jelly plate, or 7 3/4 by, what did I say? By 10, and then fold it in half. You could trim them before you fold them. Like here, if I would have trimmed it before, maybe I wouldn't have this border, but I'm gonna add things to this, right? And the other thing is, you know, that each side didn't necessarily line up exactly with the page behind it. Like it doesn't always line up. So you just kind of trim it the best you can. So that's a we insert for a junk journal or a little journal of some type. And I showed you the postcards, and I had a few little strips left over as well. And then this is the, I'll probably start with this. I'll show this process first coming up. So this, I had the wet strength carnival tissue with some paint on it. I had the black and the white on it. And then you'll see I add to the back of it, and then I glue it onto a piece of paper, and then I add some more details on the fish. This was a clean off print, and I was cleaning off the fish stencil, and then I added some details. So I'm gonna be fast forwarding like all the process. So I hope you enjoy the process coming up. It's just layers, nothing super fancy, just kept playing. All right. So just as a reminder, a lot of these papers I'm going to be starting with have paint on them, because this is a continuation of papers I had made during my live stream this past Wednesday. So if you want to see where these beginning pieces come from, you can watch that. So we're just going to be adding layers to build upon them.
What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
So I put the paint on the back side of the tissue because I didn't want to block out the stencil, the off-white there. And I knew that if I put it on the back side, it would show through. So if I had put it on the front, it probably would have obliterated a lot of that pattern.
Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
So here's where the magic of using matte medium with this Carnival wet strength tissue is. And you can see the tissue disappears and the paint becomes more vibrant. Even without that brayer off paper that had paint on it, just the paint that was on the back surface of that tissue just really pops forward, and you can see that white patterning in there a lot better. At the end of the video, near the end, I'll be adding another layer on top of this, which I think kind of wrecks it, but we'll get to that at the end. Enjoy the rest of these jelly prints.
So high, I'm hypnotized. chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Flying, get on board. We're smiling
got these two prints I think need a bit more. I cut off the tissue from around this one, and I think I'm gonna add turquoise and phthalocyanine green. And I think I'm gonna do green here and turquoise here. So I'll use this to pick up the from between the spaces, and then we'll stamp it onto here. So I want to make sure my stencil is the right way around. First, I confirm that my prints are in the similar direction as well. So if I take my stencil and I line it up, so that goes there, and that's the same as we're going to have here. They're slightly different position-wise, so I'm going to get my big plate out. This is my 12 by 14 plate I call Big Peggy, and it's not ideal for stamping because it's not on an acrylic back, but I'll have to just pick it up and try to place it. So the way I make sure I have it the right way is I put my stencil on my print where I'm going to want to stamp it, and then I flip it. I'm going to flip it that way. So I'm just going to put this side here, and then I know that I just have to go like that. So we're going to do that. So like I said, we're going to do turquoise on the top half. I want to do this phthalo green on the bottom. And I don't, you know, I need it a little bit wider than the print because, like I said, they don't quite line up. And I'm going to use my big brayer. It's just easier to get an ombre with this one. So I'm going to make sure I have lots of paint on there so it stays wet. There we go. That's pretty good. Just kind of go lighter as I finish up the ombre. So we talked about putting the stencil straight like so, and then we're going to put the centers onto this print. But I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to lift up with the stencil on it. I think I'm just going to have to eyeball it and get it as close as possible. This is tricky because I won't be able to see through it anyhow to stamp it. Okay, so I know this fish is here, and this fish is here, and his little nose is right there. So I'm going to try to line up his nose. If it's a bit off, it's a bit off. So his nose and his nose. Okay, we're just gonna go for it. And then I need to get out from between the spaces over on this side here. That's where we had trouble with things lining up. Getting all those little spaces. It's a bit, you know, it's easier with like a tissue paper to get in the spaces. I'm going to put this underneath here so that I can flip it over quickly once I take the stencil off. All right, let's see if we were on target at all. Yeah, we missed a little bit, so not quite on target. So I get this before it dries. Okay, that's where it's at. That's where it's going. I wanted to keep cleaning my stencils, so I made this little clean off a page, which is kind of cute. Not bad. I'm going to just put this under. I think I'm going to add that to here using just some matte medium. This never ends. Every cleanup sheet becomes a new print, and then I never finish. Background, that's just my, I'm going to have to lift it up again to do the stamp thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this underneath. So it's ready to go. Okay, just need a brayer. So it would be better if I had a big plexiglass for this. And what I can do is I can just put this on top of it, like so. And then we'll put our heavy book. We'll leave that for a few minutes. So I hope you enjoyed that little process video. I really appreciate you watching, and have lots of fun creating. Bye-bye.